Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Mike McCutcheon, and I'm really excited to be here today. I think I have a topic that is so important to me. I've studied it for a long time, and I'm really excited to share it with you. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. And then at the end, I'll give you my info, and you can reach out to me. So I'll start with a smidge background on me. I was a police officer for 21 years, and I worked in detectives most of that time, either as a detective or detective sergeant. And then once I got into detectives and crime scene processing, I fell in love with it, and I couldn't get enough of it. I started a training company teaching forensics to police officers and lab folks and students because I loved sharing this stuff with you. And then I wanted to continue on expanding my horizons and what I was going to be able to do. And I earned my doctorate in education. The topic that I looked at was emotional intelligence and how emotional intelligence can influence police officers and how they respond to stress. So then I went down this road of emotional intelligence, and I just found it to be amazing. So I'm going to share some of that stuff with you, and I'll tell you, if you know me personally, and hopefully I get to meet some of you and have that personal relationship, this is a unique topic to me because I don't share my emotions. I just go with the flow, and I really had to do some self-reflection. And so that's where I want to look at today and talk to you on how you can use your emotions and emotional intelligence to prevent burnout, become a fantastic leader, and really connect, particularly those of you who are supervisors, because it is really important. Let's first look at this. I want you to look at this particular slide. And I start this because this is an emotional ladder, and we are all on this emotional ladder. And we go up and down this emotional ladder, minute to minute, hour by hour, day by day. And emotions are data. And emotions affect our behavior. If you look at the top, you see all the good things that are great. Joy and passion and optimism, and you're feeling really great. And then down at the bottom of this ladder, you have jealousy and hatred and anger, blame, worry. But we are on this ladder, and I'll give you an example. You're on your way to work, your tire blows out, you get a flat tire, and you're stranded on the side of the road, and then you try to get some help. Nobody's helping you. Maybe it's bad weather. The tow truck person comes to help you. They have an attitude. You feel like a jerk. They're making you feel terrible that you're out here, that you're not changing your own tire or whatever it is. And then you go to work. How are you going to feel? Are you going to do your best work? And let me tell you something about emotions. If you are on the bottom of this emotional ladder, everybody who interacts with you is going to be on that same rung of the ladder because they're going to read that from you. And it's important for us to recognize that. And it could be the opposite too. Maybe you had an amazing, you went on a first date with somebody and it went amazing and you feel so good and you're at the top of this ladder and you're feeling great and you go to work, you're probably going to have a better day than the person who had that flat tire or something. And think of personal things. Maybe you're going through something that's difficult. Those emotions are going to affect your behavior. Now, I really like this particular slide because emotions can help explain behavior, but it doesn't excuse behavior. Okay, that's very important. I'll give you one more example. Okay, I told you my history is as a police officer. If somebody hits a police officer, should they be charged with a crime? And of course, everybody says, yes, they should be charged with a crime. You know, shouldn't hit a police officer. And then I say, but what if I told you that the person who struck the police officer just told them that their son or daughter died in a car crash? And of course they go, well, of course we wouldn't arrest them. That's understanding emotional intelligence. I'm not excusing the behavior, but I understand why a parent would respond that way. That is how we use emotions to reflect on ourselves, on how we're behaving, but also be able to understand how someone else is behaving. And that's going to help you connect with the people that you work with. And it's really effective in leadership. You know, I didn't make this up. It's not just something that I said, oh, I'll throw on a couple slides. And there are a lot of people that will try to tell you that emotional intelligence can cure everything. But I did do a lot of research on this about how those who are higher in emotional intelligence deal better with stress, or that they are more psychologically resourceful, their well-being is better, and those with higher emotional intelligence are better coping skills to especially prolonged stress. And then even if we look at some of the other areas, job performance, stress management, burnout. Okay, that's where we're really going to look at today. So this isn't just something that I came up with. This is based in data and research that emotional intelligence is something that can really benefit you. And I don't want to leave it at just you. It's your whole team. It's your whole team and the people that you work with. It's everybody. So here is the model. This is Savoy and Mayer, and the tests I use are Savoy, Mayer, Caruso. When we're looking at the emotional intelligence definition, this is the definition that I use. I like this definition because it's the ability to monitor your own emotions, but it's also using that same and plugging in someone else's. So I use that emotion to decide how I'm going to respond to other people, how I'm going to respond to outside influences. Let's look at this. Let's take a fingerprint analyst, for example, and you have a new fingerprint examiner, I should say. You have a new fingerprint examiner, and they make an identification that is incorrect. How do you address that? Now, think of the stress level that the person has, and we've all done this. I'll give you an example. It has nothing to do with it. I lost my ID card to get in and out of my office. I've had the same ID card for 5 years. I lost it 3 times in a month. 3 times in a month. But I had it for 5 years before that. And that's what happens here. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta go get another one. I gotta go get that other card, and I'm stressing out about it. And I'm worried because now after one, you gotta go down to the office and they're gonna make you pay for a second one and this. And I so worried about it that I make more errors. And we've all done this. And that's the same here. Understanding the emotional response of somebody, how do we correct that behavior? How do we educate somebody if they made an error in whatever area of forensics it may be? How do we correct that without destroying them, where they're now going to make that error over and over again because they're so worried about it? That's all they can think about. And that is really difficult to do. So we have to understand that there is an emotional response to any correction that we have or that we give or that we receive. And identifying that and recognizing that is going to be important. I pulled this off of my Instagram, and I liked it because this is really it. That emotional intelligence, I talked about where you are on that emotional ladder at the beginning of the lecture. And if you're not aware of that flat tire that you got it may affect you for a day, may affect you for a week. You have to be able to look in and say, why is that affecting me so much? Why am I so hurt that this tow truck operator said that I'm useless because I couldn't change? Why does that bother me so much? And self-reflect on that. Look at that and say, you know what? I think it's because I was embarrassed, and embarrassment is a really strong emotion. And I was a little bit embarrassed to be there. Okay, and then we move on. When I looked at emotional intelligence, I used an ability model, and I looked at 4 areas. We have at the top of this chart here, the top of the, I'll say, easier pieces of emotional intelligence, and then we move down to the more difficult ones. And the first one is just perceiving the emotions. That emotions are data. Emotions have information. And how do we see that? How are we able to recognize the emotions? That's all. And then how do we use that to facilitate the thought? So I'm dealing with somebody who seems really, let's say as a supervisor who is just not getting it. And instead of just looking at the behavior, I look at what is emotionally driving this person. Maybe that person is really worried. Think of that emotional ladder. They're really worried that if they make a mistake, they're going to lose their job. And they have a lot going on. Maybe they're a single family income, or they got medical bills or something that is really stressing them out, and they need this. And now they've put everything into this evaluation or something. Like, how are we going to use that emotion to facilitate our thought and action? And then the last two, the understanding, is what's causing those emotions. Like I said, maybe it's that embarrassment, labeling, recognizing those emotions and labeling them. And then how do we manage them? How do we manage them? And a couple little conclusions here. Think of this not only for yourself, but for others. Emotions contain data. Emotions contain data, and you have to determine what is being shared in that data. What is that there? And then we look at that emotions to facilitate what we're thinking. We use them to connect to other people. And here's something for emotions. Somebody is really upset and they're sad. And this is the difference between empathy and sympathy. Your best friend, their significant other breaks up with them and they're really sad. This is sympathy. Oh, don't worry. We're gonna go out tonight. We're gonna have a great time. I'm gonna take you out. We're gonna be, that guy was trash. Oh, don't worry about it. We're gonna have an awesome time. I'm gonna bring you out and we're gonna have a great time. That's sympathy. Empathy is, I know that you're feeling really upset. I know you must have had some good times together and it's really hard right now. I'm here for you. You don't want to say, I know how you feel, because you don't. And this isn't just for a breakup, but if you're dealing with families dealing with suicide and you say, I know how you feel. No, you don't. Even if you've experienced the same circumstances or similar, you don't know how they feel. So you can say, I understand this is difficult for you and I'm here for you. And that's okay. But that's how we connect. That's how we connect with our team. That's how we connect with people, is saying, I'm listening. I'm understanding where you're coming from, and I want to know more. And then managing those emotions in ourselves again, so that we're not, I tell police officers, emotions are what get you in trouble. Emotions. If you watch every video where there's like a police officer freak out video and they're going crazy, they're not going crazy because they're mad that the person is speeding. They're going crazy because they're angry at something else going on in their life, and this is the emotions building up. That's why they're getting angry. So how do we develop that EI? Well, we got to do a couple of things. First, we have to practice observing. How do I feel and why am I feeling this way? Question that. Talk to somebody who you trust and say, I'm feeling like I'm not doing a good job today, or I'm feeling out of sorts. What do you think? Somebody who you can listen to. Don't just surround your people with yes men, because if you do, you're never going to learn. You have to be able to trust somebody and have somebody be able to say, hey man, you're a little off today. Something going on, and you can't get offended by that. They're helping you out. Take responsibility for that and say, oh my gosh, you know what? I had such a bad night. You know, my son or daughter, I just can't, man. All right, I gotta shake this off. Okay, don't ignore negative feelings. Negative feelings are okay. Negative feelings are okay. So some of the things that I said already, we want to look at things objectively. Sometimes you have to take a break, actually move around. Whew, okay. All right. Something like that can reset yourself, reset your brain, reset your brain. And now this is one of my favorites here. This, don't get mad, get better. 7 and below, let it go. If somebody is bothering you, or an event or an incident, road rage, I think of this all the time. If it's a 7 and below, let it go. Who cares? Like, rate your anger at that particular moment. Is this really worth my time? It's not. Who cares? 7 and below, let it go. And I said previously, that bottom piece, things will happen. Bad things will happen to us. Good things too. But we have to control how we respond to them. And a lot of times when people talk about emotions, they think, oh, the negative. How do I deal with the negative? How do I deal with the negative? Think of a sore winner. That's also, emotional, where, it doesn't just pertain to negative emotions, all emotions. When we talk about motivation, one of the things that we have to be cautious of is there's a difference between motivation and inspiration. We want to be inspirational to our team, to the people around us. Motivation is temporary. Motivation is, hey, if you guys get this task done, I'll buy everybody pizza. That's motivation. Inspiration is, I believe in this. I believe in my leader. I believe in this team and I'm going to do good and I'm going to keep working. Oh, I appreciate you bought me pizza. That's really great, but I want to get this done. That's inspiration. And we want to be inspiring the people that work about us. And some of these things can be difficult. Being okay, with your shortcomings and saying, hey, you know what? I am not really good with organization and I know you are. Could you organize this? It's like, that's okay. You don't always have to be on number one at everything. It's fine. Set your goals. Be curious. Think of other points of view. And realize everybody has what's emotional for me or what's difficult for me may not be difficult for you. And I'll be like, geez, why are they so upset over that? And your response is correct. Your response is your response. And my may be different. I have something that bothers me that doesn't bother you. Okay. Who cares? I can say, hey, man, I see that really upsets you. It doesn't matter that I don't find that upsetting. I say, is there anything I can do for you? I'm here for you. If you want to talk about it, that's the piece, that empathetic piece. Not sympathy, but the empathetic piece that we need. Really listen to people. Listen to what they're telling you. Understand. Let them talk. Let them talk, especially as a leader. Be approachable. Like, if somebody comes in and they say, hey, I'm having a tough time on this, and you're like, all right, look, I'm going to tell you all the answers. Again, just as I gave that sympathy and empathy, let me tell you, this is what you're going to do. You're going to do this and that. Be like, okay, take a step back. You're supposed to be inspiring them. Now, you can guide people. You want to cultivate that energy, but let them come through. Let them go with that point of view. And this is where leaders fail. They don't want to listen to an alternative point of view. And you say, well, this is the way that it's the only way to do it. And that's incorrect. That's incorrect. A couple of no-nos when we're just dealing with people, especially for leadership. No drama. We don't want to hear complaining. Oh, it's not my fault. It's the guys above me, or this place sucks. They doing that. We don't want to hear that, especially as an employee. You're my leader. I don't want to hear the negativity. And I've dealt with this. I was a sergeant for a long time, and my admin would say things or a new policy, and I'd say, promotions. Oh, that's the worst. Be like, hey, look, I know you guys get passed over for promotion, but you know what? I believe in you, and we're going to move forward, and I got you, and I think you're doing amazing, and you're doing great. What I didn't do is be like, yeah, I can't believe they promoted that guy, man. He stinks. Yeah, this place stinks. Like, that is not helping anybody. That's not helping anybody. Don't be overcritical. You want to help people. You don't want to just criticize. Okay? Tell them what they're doing good. And this is what I said earlier is if you have that, nope, that's my opinion and I'm sticking to it and I'm not changing, then you are not growing. You are not growing if you refuse to change your mind. If you get in an argument with somebody and I say, is there anything that I can say that would change your mind? And you say no, then there's no reason to argue. Your answer should be like, I don't know. It could be. Maybe you feel really strongly about it, but I'm open and I hear you and I go, oh, that's pretty good. And I like this last quote here of, no man is free who cannot control himself. You have to recognize what is driving you. What makes you move forward? How do your colleagues see you? What is inspiring you? And you have to be able to do that to control yourself. And we're just going to keep moving forward. We keep moving forward. And be proud of the work that you do. You do make a difference. And you may not know. I retired from the police force and now I work full-time with students and teach at the police academy and things. And many times I have people say, hey, you did this or you helped me. And I have no idea. I don't even remember it. But I had an impact on people's lives. And you do too. So be proud of the work you do. You make a difference and know you make a difference and be positive and keep aware of your emotions so that you can affect your team and you can affect yourself in a positive manner. You can tell I love this stuff. I love forensic stuff. So I'll talk to anybody who wants to talk to me. That's my website is forensiceducation.net. My phone number, email's up there. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I'm on all of it, and it's either under my name, Mike McCutcheon, or under Forensic Education. But thank you so much for enjoying me. I hope you enjoy the other lectures as well. And please reach out. I encourage that. I really enjoy talking to you guys.